So you found this video because you're a realtor and you're thinking of making a move to a different brokerage, or maybe you're a brand new agent or thinking about becoming an agent and you're wondering, where should I work or which brokerage should I be at when I do get my license? Well, if so, this is the video for you because there are many choices when it comes to real estate brokerages, and there are many different formats or models. There's traditional versus cloud-based brokerage models, and the cloud-based is probably the future of real estate brokerage in my humble opinion, but there are several choices within that model as well. Well, Real Broker should be on your short list, and the reason why is because it's the fastest growing real estate brokerage in all of North America, and it has an amazing platform with amazing culture and benefits to the agent that traditional brokerages just cannot and do not offer. But we have frequently asked questions that we get all the time from people on social media or in person or via email wondering more about Real Brokerage, and we're going to address those frequently asked questions on this video today. So stay tuned and get your pen and paper ready because this will be a very informative video that will get you fully informed on everything Real Brokerage has to offer. But real quick, if you want to skip all of this and just contact me directly and have a 15-minute private one-on-one conversation to get specific questions you have answered, go ahead and click the Calendly link below or call or email me. I'd be happy to get right back to you. Okay, the number one most frequently asked question that I get the most by far is, Kelly, with a cloud-based model, how do I work out of an office? Where's the office space? And that's a legitimate question to ask because in a cloud-based model, there is no office space provided by the brokerage to the agents on the side of a street somewhere or in a retail strip center. It doesn't exist. Why? Well, it's because the office space is one of the most expensive items on a profit loss statement when it comes to running the business. It sucks all the profit right out of the company. And if Real is based on a model in which they're sharing the majority of their revenue back to their agents, they want to eliminate that expense so they can be more nimble and be more profitable to be able to perform their business, grow their business while still sharing revenue back to the agents for rewarding them for being good agents, producing a lot of real estate, and of course, attracting other agents to the company to help it grow. You see, we're going to cover revenue share here a little bit later on this video, but the reality is that Real doesn't spend money on advertising to grow the company. They provide that money back to the agents for the agents who want to go out and market the company on behalf of the company itself. So it's cool because it's a secondary flow of income the agents can choose to take advantage of if they so choose to. So when it comes to office space, it kind of matters who you align yourself with the company because you want the ability to potentially go to an office space. So if you join a team as an example, hopefully that team already has access to office space. So for example, on my team, we had our own office building that we purchased years before we even came to Real, just to have our own culture, our ability to grow our team the way we want to do it, and things of that nature. So we already had the office space set up when we joined Real, so it was a little easier for us from that standpoint. Now, a lot of teams across the country have that same type of setup. So if you join a team because your office really is important to you, you need to make sure that they have access for you in an office somewhere. But there are other options as well. Guys, what we found to be true is that agents think they want to work out of the office a lot, but in reality, because I know I have quite a few agents on our team, they don't come in as much as you think they would or as much as they say they will. It just doesn't happen. But it's nice to have that someplace they can go to conduct team meetings or to have the culture of the camaraderie of the other team, the community. So that is important in many cases, and I get that. But if you need to use office space, you can always take advantage of your partners, your lender partner, your title partner. They will have office space, and they typically have conference rooms and nice ones at that. And you can use those to present to clients if they want to be in a conference room office style setting. You can also use coffee shops. A lot of people go to coffee shops and work out of there because they want to meet new people, random people coming in the coffee shop and things of that nature. And that's pretty common nowadays to have that decentralized workspace for people working out of coffee shops. And last but not least, I'll say another option that a lot of people are taking advantage of are shared workspaces. So a Regis, a WeWork space, a shared spaces, places like that where they can white label an office for you that you just pay to rent. It's already set up, ready to go. You just simply pay for your copiers. You can pay for time rented in the conference room. You have maybe a receptionist that already white labels the phone calls when they come into your line for your company name. Your mailbox is set up. All that stuff is ready to go. So if you just pay the rent for the one office space you choose to rent, then it's ready to rock and roll in very professional setting for many cases. And again, these are becoming more and more popular because a lot of small businesses are going to this type of a model. So it's very common now for a client or someone else to understand that that's the type of office space that you work out of. Or if you're looking to just be an individual agent, then who you name as your sponsor, which network you choose to join will potentially matter on that as well, because possibly somebody who you name as sponsor already has access to an office space in some form or fashion, and therefore you can just use that office space. That's a big perk of who you choose to align yourself with when joining the company. That is what a lot of people are doing, in fact. Now, you do have teams and you do have individual agents who are getting together as groups and all kinds of things happening, people who are very entrepreneurial and they're getting their own office space, possibly a 1 year or 3 year lease, whatever it may be, and they're just not even making it a big deal. But at the end of the day, it is a valid question to ask, but it should not be one to inhibit you from making a move to a superior model and a superior system and company to run your real estate business out of, which is what Real Broker provides. Now let's jump over to the next question, which is, what is a sponsor and how does that work? That's a very typical question. I'm glad somebody asked that multiple times because we're going to address it right now. Now, the sponsor is the person that you choose that is the person responsible for bringing you over to the company with Real Broker. Now, at the end of the day, you have to name a name. You cannot just leave it blank. Every single person has to have a sponsor, and there's multiple reasons for that. Because again, the sponsor is going to be an agent already with the company who's going to be responsible for seeing you succeed. They have a responsibility because they stand to potentially financially benefit with revenue share in the event you do business selling real estate in the future. So they want to see you do business. They want to see you succeed, and they should have that responsibility and feel that responsibility to see you succeed, which takes a little bit of effort and energy, accountability, and all these things that comes with being a sponsor and having that potential financial reward down the pike in the future. In fact, I personally love being a sponsor of people. I love seeing people succeed. I love succeeding through others. If you would like to potentially talk to me about being your sponsor, coming over to Real Brokerage, please simply go to our website, growwithrealbrokerage.com. You have the site right there. Put my name down when you go through it, and I will be notified. I'll reach out to you and see how we can help to get you up into production as quick as possible in selling real estate. Along the same lines of being a sponsor, one of the questions we get a lot is, does the sponsor have to be in my own marketplace? And this is a great question. The answer is no. The sponsor can be located anywhere as long as they're with the company. Now, currently we operate in all 50 states in the United States of America and 4 provinces in Canada. So as long as you're with the company, you can be a sponsor for anyone anywhere else in the country or Canada. But this brings up the next point, which is co-sponsorship. What is that? That question gets asked a lot, but this is one of the reasons why the company came out with co-sponsorship. Let's say you live in Phoenix, Arizona, and you would like to potentially have Kelly Cook or someone in this local market, like myself, be your sponsor, but you have a good friend. Maybe it's your childhood friend that lives in Denver, Colorado, and you really want to be aligned with them as well because maybe you just don't want to let them down or whatever the case may be. That being said, you can do co-sponsorship. Co-sponsorship is where you're actually allowed to name 2 people as your sponsor. You get the best of both worlds. You have the ability to have the person in your local market help you out with getting your business running and things of that nature, but you also have the ability to mastermind with that person and be part of their network, what they have going on in that other city. And so it really opened the door to really have people's networks with the company explode, because technically with co-sponsorship, and it's also known as fractional sponsorship or revenue share, the revenue share is almost infinite and limitless in terms of how many people you can have in your network with the company. So I hope I really explained that well, because I'm just rapid firing the most frequently asked questions I get all the time from other agents on social media or in person, via email, whatever it may be. The next question we get all the time is, Kelly, with the cloud-based model, how does it work with the designated broker or the principal broker, otherwise known as maybe the qualifying broker? That term varies state to state, but it's all about the principal broker, let's call it. In Arizona, it's called the designated broker. And how does that work if you have a cloud-based brokerage? I'm glad you asked. Every single state in America has a qualified principal or designated broker that is in charge of all the agents in that state. Now, that broker will also have potentially other associate brokers or assistant brokers that help that person out, and that's based on the size of the agent count in that state. So obviously the largest state, which I believe is still Texas at this time, is going to have the most brokers to help out with all of the agents' questions, etc. But at the same time, that qualifying broker broker, principal broker is only in charge truly of the legal and contractual issues and should not be relied upon for advice as to how to get a contract written or how to lead generate or what are the best practices to how to use a CRM and all these questions that agents have to know in order to run a successful business. That is not the role of the designated broker or principal broker for each state. That role is incumbent upon the sponsor to help out. And so the sponsors, again, have great responsibility to make sure the people they bring onto the company are taken care of. It is not the responsibility of the designated broker. But of course, if you have questions about contracts, legal issues, things of that nature, you absolutely can reach out to the qualifying broker and they will respond to you in a timely fashion, whether it be through the app, the back end of our system, the reZen, or maybe via email, text. Every broker is different. You'll figure out how they want to be communicated with the best and they will get back to you because again, they want to see you succeed as well. They are into it to see agents succeed, deals close, the company do well and grow. And of course, everybody wins in that situation, especially as a stakeholder in the company owning stock. The next question I get is, Kelly, with a cloud-based brokerage, how does that work with the cap, with the fees and my split? Can I sell in multiple different states? Well, yes, you can sell in multiple different states if you have a license in that state, of course. And if you do have license in multiple states, the best thing about this is the fact that you still have just one cap. Now, when I was with Keller Williams, there was a franchise model. So if I wanted to be licensed in Arizona and licensed in California, and I wanted to sell homes in both states, I would have to pay a cap of X amount of money for my local Arizona brokerage. And then I had to hang my license somewhere in California. So I'd hang it with a Keller Williams there. Well, it didn't matter that it's both Keller Williams because it's two separate franchise owners. And therefore I had to pay a whole other cap in California. That is not cool. And so with Real, you don't have to worry about that. You want to sell in Arizona and sell in California because you're licensed in both. You hang your license with the company of Real and your cap of $12,000 as an individual agent is counted just one time for properties you sell in both states. And of course, if you're on a team, it's a half cap and that cap of $6,000 one time for both states. It is a beautiful model, a beautiful thing, and much more advantageous for the agent. The next question I get is, Kelly, what if I have an offer? I need to get that written up and it's my first time ever doing it with the company. How's that going to work? Well, again, when it comes to the docs you need, the template of docs you need to be state compliant, yes, your principal designated broker will help out with that. Absolutely. But when it comes to the mechanics of how you write an actual offer, talking with your client and representing them, that should go to your mentor. That should go to your sponsor, that person who brought you into the company, who should have a good idea of how to do that, of course, and be able to then walk you through that process. So that is a good question to ask. And that again, that's why it just matters how involved your sponsor is and therefore doing your homework on who that person you're going to choose, whether it be a sponsor or a co-sponsor type situation. Okay, another question is, and this is a good one, is what are the monthly fees? Every agent wants to know that. And it's a good question to ask. The monthly fees for Real are zero. That's right, guys. The monthly fees are zero. That is very rare, especially for a cloud-based model. Most companies like this in this model are going to have a monthly fee. Why? Because they're going to give you something for that fee, like maybe a discounted access to a CRM or maybe access to some back-end system potentially. But at the end of the day, whether you use that back-end system or that CRM, you're going to pay the monthly fee regardless. At Real, they want the agent to be in control. They want the agent to choose. And so the agent gets to choose if they want to use the CRM that Real has a enterprise solution with called Chime or Lofty now. But at the end of the day, they're not going to force you to use Chime because if you want to use another CRM like Follow Up Boss or Sync or whatever it may be, you can go ahead and do that and you don't have to pay any monthly fees for that access. It is a beautiful thing. Again, they really want the agent to be entrepreneurial and support them in that endeavor. And so when it comes to the fees, Real does not have monthly fees. You only pay any type of fees when you play. And again, just really quick to cover some of those fees, the split is 85-15 for all agents. The cap is $12,000 for an individual agent. It's $6,000 if you're on a team. You do not have any transaction fees until you actually cap. Once you cap, you have a post-cap transaction fee of $285 per closing, which can also be split with your team leader if you're on a team. Or if you're an individual agent, you do pay the whole thing. But the good news is that post-cap transaction fee actually counts towards being an elite agent, where if you hit the elite agent, the company pays you back $16,000 in company stock for hitting that status. And you can only hit that status by paying in a certain amount of transaction fees. That total amount is $6,000 divided by 285. That's about 21 extra closings after you cap. And if you hit that number, you become an elite agent. Now, as an elite agent, not only do you get $16,000, but if you choose to teach and Real Academy, you will get up to $8,000 more of company stock, bringing a total of $24,000 in company stock for that 1 year for becoming an elite agent. So that brings me to our next question, which transitions perfectly, which is, how does the training work with Real Broker? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we just talked about teaching a Real Academy. That is how training is going to work. Real.academy, that is the website. And it's also Real Academy. And so in Real Academy are housed all of the training topics and classes that are being taught on a consistent, ongoing basis throughout the company. So again, if you become an elite agent, it proves that you know what you're doing to an extent, because you produced a lot of real estate closings. And so you're rewarded by getting the option to teach in Real Academy. Now, you can teach on almost any subject you want to that you're a subject matter expert on, and the company allows you to do it as long as you show up once a month and teach. You will be on track to receive that stock benefit at the end of the year. And the great thing is you're giving back. You're giving back to all the other agents who want to learn from you on the topic you're teaching, as well as all the other topics that are being taught in Real Academy. So for example, every single week there's about 40 classes being taught in Real Academy. Yes, every single week. Masterminds going on, classes about mindset, open houses, how to write a contract, Instagram trainings. I mean, and the list goes on and on. And the best thing is you can attend live and ask questions, interact with the instructor right there, or everything is recorded and you can go watch it at your convenience when you have that time available. So it is an amazing resource that the Real has put together, that there is no shortage of how to do something when it comes to training with Real Brokerage. And the last question here we'll end with is revenue share. People ask all the time about revenue share. How does that work? Now remember, revenue share is sharing money off the top end revenue, not the profit. And so when revenue comes in, the company has a matrix, a formula set up to distribute up to 60% of all the revenue back to all the agents throughout the company. This is a beautiful thing and a huge opportunity for an agent who wants to actually go out and be influential in bringing other agents over to the company. This is how other cloud-based brokerages have grown so quickly, and Real is growing faster than any of those at this current time. We, in fact, are the fastest growing brokerage in all of North America. And outside of the main reason being culture, the next best thing is probably the revenue share opportunity. So we won't go into a deep dive on this video in terms of the mechanics of how it works. I do have several videos on the channel right here that you can reference to go into the deep dive mechanics of how the revenue share works. But let's just say that the highest payout is at the top levels. You get the highest payout for the people you bring in directly. And then as it goes down, the payouts get lower, which is just the opposite of how other cloud-based brokerages works in general. Most of those companies are paying the highest payouts as you get lower, which is harder to do in the levels of unlocking tiers to make more revenue share. So needless to say that the revenue share model with Real is amazing. And the ability for agents to make money just for bringing other agents over the company is huge. And with that revenue share, you're also able to retire with the company as well, where in perpetuity, that revenue share will continue to be paid out to you and you won't have to sell any more houses. How awesome is that? And let's not talk about being willable as well. That's right. The revenue share continues to be paid out to your heirs one day when you are no longer with us on this earth. And that is a beautiful thing as well. You can have that guarantee that your family will be taken care of. So many other perks and benefits and details of the revenue share program of being with Real. There's just so much to cover there. It is truly amazing and life-changing money. And I mean this, guys, life-changing money for many, many agents who take it serious when they come over to the company. So this segues perfectly into my last question. I promise this is the last question. That is, what are the best practices to recruit other agents to the company? Well, first and foremost, we hate the word recruiting. We like the word attracting. And it's actually in the ICA and the handbook with Real that they don't want you to recruit at all. You want to attract agents. And how do you go about doing that? By three things. Number one, producing. The biggest attraction piece you could do is sell real estate, because agents want to be attracted to other agents who are doing actual work in the industry you're in. Number two, cross-sell agents. Talk to your cross-sell agents. Become friends with them during the transaction and just see how they're liking their current situation, how business is going for them. Just be a human, and you'll be surprised how many of those people will ask you questions about the brokerage you're with. And then you have a chance to then talk to them about that at that time. And number three, do cool stuff and tell people about it. That's right. i.e. social media is a great platform for that. All the different platforms within social media, put it out there. Be authentic, be real, and let people kind of see what you're all about when it comes to your regular personal life that just happens to involve work, as well. But one thing that they do not want you doing is cold calling other agents. That's right, guys. Don't do that. If you come to Real, this is not the culture. This is not the place in which you're going to pick up a phone and start dialing through a list of agents and asking them to come over to the brokerage. That's not what the company wants, and that's not what our culture is built upon. So if you're looking to do that, there's probably a different model you should go to. But if you're looking to just attract agents by being a good human and a great real estate agent and producing one at that, then Real is by far your best choice. I hope this video was helpful and that all these frequently asked questions that I get the most were answered to the best of your ability, because you're probably thinking them also. But if you have any further questions, reach out to me. Call me 480-660-5974. You can hit me up on Instagram at Kelly Cook Homes. DM me there. I'd be happy to get back to you and spend 15 minutes. Or you can simply book a time on my Calendly link just below, and I'd be happy to spend as much time as needed to make sure all of your questions were answered. Making a brokerage switch is not easy. I don't take it lightly. And so if you have any questions or just simply starting to explore the option of changing brokerages, I would love the chance to speak with you further and make sure you have all your questions answered so you know exactly what you're getting into if you're looking to make the move to this amazing company that we call Real. Thank you so much for your time and watching this video. To make sure you never miss any more like this, be sure to subscribe or like us. Get us out to more and more people who can benefit from hearing this content. And if you want to hear any more videos about Real brokerage or just real estate in general, click on the playlist on our channel right here.